That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not.
That is the LNS, dude.
Well, if there's like...
Look at that thing!
It's rotating.
What is that? Like, what the fuck is that?
That's right. It's wild, man.
What is that?
What if I told you that all of the answers and secrets to the universe were written in ancient texts from ancient civilizations thousands and thousands of years ago, and it's been really some of the best hidden knowledge in the entire recorded history of mankind. And these secrets can allow you to unlock a whole new reality. Now, recently, Billy Carson was on the Joe Rogan podcast to discuss the history behind some of the most ancient texts in the world. And at one point, they play a clip of the US government that released video footage of a UFO sighting. I'm going to play that clip and you can hear them react to it.
Yeah,
what is that? Like, what the fuck is that?
That's right. It's wild, man.
What is that?
Like I said, I just see these things and I go back to the Vimanas. They ran on a ferrofluid vortex engine.
That's how it was described?
Yeah, ferrofluid. So they had liquid mercury.
Ferrofluid?
Ferrofluid, which is liquid metal.
Now, you might be wondering why I played a UFO clip, and let's just unpack that before we go any further. Carson is saying that everything, including how these spacecrafts operate, was written in ancient texts from thousands of years ago, and they used ferrofluid. And if you look at this article here from Michigan Tech University professor in space systems, it says, flying with ferrofluids. To solve this problem, L. Brad King, Ron and Elaine Starr professor in space systems and Michigan Tech, is creating a new kind of microthruster that assembles itself out of its own propellant when excited by a magnetic field. The tiny thruster requires no fragile needles and is essentially indestructible. We're working with a unique material called an ionic liquid ferrofluid, explaining that it's both magnetic and ionic, a liquid salt, and when you put a magnet underneath a small pool of ferrofluid, it turns into a beautiful hedgehog structure of aligned peaks. When we apply a strong electric field to the array of peaks, each one emits an individual microjet of ions. Okay, that's pretty wild, right? Just wanted to fact check that in real time before we go down this rabbit hole so you know that this is legit. Billy Carson is telling Rogan the exact process of using ferrofluid in spacecrafts, and it was specifically written about thousands of years ago in these ancient texts. So now that you know that, let's check out what else he said about it.
If you take a torus and you put a ferrofluid like mercury inside of it, and you magnetize the torus in a way that creates this rotation, this RPM of the mercury moving around that field, and you get it up to about 60,000 RPMs, and then you actually pressurize the torus to about 250,000 atmospheres, and you electrify it, you get anti-gravity properties.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So you can create a anti-gravity flying device utilizing that technique. And this is really, well known.
And how do they describe it in the text?
In the text, they talk about the fact that it used mercury in a rotating disc.
Really?
And then they have some of the, the flight plans and some of the layout of actually the plans of the actual ship itself, one of the ships. And so from that, you can almost hypothesize or backward engineer what it might have been able to do. And in the text, it says they used to take a complement of men to many worlds. So this is incredible technology.
A complement of men to many worlds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, that's very interesting because they figured this out thousands of years ago. It's in the Mahabharata, an ancient text written in about 400 BC. And the key point, though, out of what he just said is an exact quote from these ancient texts. Take a complement of man to many worlds. He's referencing a quote, take a complement of man to many worlds. We're talking essentially about manipulating time, space, energy, matter, the entire physical universe as we know it to achieve teleportation, essentially. Now, what is so amazing about that is it all ties back to quantum physics. And if you understand these ancient teachings, you can control your reality and become the creator of your future by using your consciousness and frequencies to bend solid matter to your will. This was written thousands of years ago in the Emerald Tablets. And here's Billy explaining it further.
In the Emerald Tablets, it's the book I wrote, though talks about using cymatic frequencies and light waves to create manifest solid matter. And what happened about 4 years ago in a laboratory, they used cymatic frequencies and photons to create solid matter out of nothing. Just happened about 4 years ago.
What did they create?
They just create a few particles, But the fact that we can do it, but it was already in ancient text.
Now, he said, create manifest solid matter. Create manifest solid matter. It's been rediscovered by quantum physics, this truth. That physical matter, including your body, your bank account, your future goals, your dreams, all aspects of your personal reality and your future, all the stuff in the physical world, it's not physical. It's energy. And it can be manipulated and transformed using frequency and vibration. And with the right control of frequencies, physical things in the world of matter can manifest out of pure energy from the universal quantum field. You can manifest a new bank account, new relationship, new job, new dream house, whatever else you want, but that's only scratching the surface. So this is Carson explaining how deep this goes and how this is some of the most life-changing information you will ever come across.
Imagine being able to build an entire city by manifesting the matter needed to build the city instead of harvesting the city from rock.
3D print the city
with nanobots.
Ions.
You would use nanobots to build the whole city. It would manifest as it went.
And you could also use that to repair things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you would never have to have construction again. Everything would be self-replicable.
Correct.
Self-repairable.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, of course, if you just scale up, just think about what we can do now and keep going, make it much better and much more efficient.
We're talking about programmable matter now. Programmable matter.
Programmable matter. Those are the two words that can unlock a new universe right now for you. All matter is programmable because all matter is energy, and energy is controlled by consciousness and frequency. And science tells us that energy can never be created or destroyed. It can only be changed, transformed, or transmuted into new states of matter. So modern science proves what ancient wisdom told us literally tens of thousands of years ago. Matter is programmable. This is the secret that was written about in all these ancient texts from civilizations dating back thousands and thousands of years. And this brings us to the holographic universe. And this is where you can really start to unlock the doors of reality. And this is what really got me interested in testing this, right? Because if you never heard this before, it's almost like, sounds interesting, but okay. Will this be helpful? Is this even helpful at all? So I just did a thought experiment on my life. Could I actually program matter? Could I program the material world and bend it to my will and create the reality I wanted? And that's what got me really into the subconscious mind and reprogramming the subconscious, hypnotizing yourself, and basically living in that reality. I have a free success hypnosis. Don't get it yet, because what he's about to say is probably some of the most powerful information that you'll ever hear. But my free success hypnosis is jakeshypnosis.com. You can click right here or go to jakeshypnosis.com, but don't get it yet because this is some important information on how you can use the holographic universe to control your reality. Let's check it out.
If this scales out for hundreds of millions of years, you get to a point where this Nibiru is.
Yeah.
Or billions of years, or whatever it takes for it to get all the way the fuck out.
Well, I estimate that they're about 1 million years ahead of us technologically. Now, it could be...
And then there's things that are millions of years ahead of them.
Oh, way ahead of them. There's things that are far, far ahead of them.
Which is, this is what's hard for us to scale out.
Yeah.
We like to think that aliens that fly in spaceships, that's the top of the food chain.
Right.
But not even close.
Yeah. Like I was saying before, I never got to it really. There's 3 types of beings I think that exist. One is a physical corporeal being that could be what we see flying around in these UFOs. Not all of them, some of them that visit us, that interact with us in the ancient past. Not all are little green men, but they have various different body types. The second kind that I believe is potentially multidimensional beings. Okay, that there's life in every different dimension. And Michio Kaku was famous for saying that the universe, they believe, has 11 dimensions. So that's 11 dimensions. We're only in the third. There's 4th, 5th, 6th, all the way up to 11 at least, or the universe, he says, would collapse. So if you're in a being in a higher dimension, you can see the past, present, and future all at once in the third. And if you say, that's an interesting place, I'd like to visit it, if you can actually create a phase shift in your atomic frequency to match the atomic frequency of this dimension, you can walk right in, and then you can walk right back.
Okay, when I hear all this, it comes down to like one question pretty much. If this is really how reality works, then how do I shift my personal hologram, step into a new timeline of a future reality where all my dreams have manifested as a material fact? How do you actually control the simulation to get what you really want from the universe? How do I program matter and energy to convert it into the forms that I desire? And if you're like me and you want the answers to that question, here's what Carson says to Rogan.
If you're in a being in a higher dimension, you can see the past, present, and future all at once in the third. If you say, that's an interesting place, I'd like to visit it, if you can actually create a phase shift in your atomic frequency to match the atomic frequency of this dimension, you can walk right in, and then you can walk right back.
So, that's pretty deep. He said if you can match the neural atomic frequency to the atomic frequency of the reality that you want, to program matter, to shift your reality, to shift the timelines, create your future, you can actually match the neural atomic frequency, the electromagnetic frequency level that is emitting from your body and specifically from your brain, to match the atomic frequency of the reality that you want, then you can bend reality. Now, this was actually proven very similarly by Harvard neuroscientists, and they did a study where they wanted to see, well, if you're imagining something, then will your brain think it's real? And so what they did is they took people and they had them play a piano sequence. In another group, they didn't get to play that piano sequence. They could only imagine playing it. Well, the group that imagined playing the piano sequence had the exact same electrical activity in their brain and the same neural activity in their brain as the group that actually played the piano. So you can actually emit a neural atomic, a neural magnetic frequency using only your thought and your imagination, even if you are not presently in that reality. And if you can do that, and you can emit a neural atomic, a neural magnetic frequency, a vibration that is the same as the reality that you want, and it matches, then you can essentially shapeshift and move from your current reality into a new one, because energy is never created or destroyed, and all possibilities that could ever exist already do exist in the quantum field. And our consciousness is what determines that specific reality. This is crazy because it really opens the door to this idea that we are essentially mini gods. We are creators in the truest sense, not kind of, sort of, do some affirmations in the mirror and think positive. No, you're creating everything. And the vibration that is emitting from your thought and your neural activity, if you align it with the reality that you want, you'll create it. So I just thought I would test this. And I'm not even asking you to believe any of this. And I'm sure Carson would say the same thing. Test these ideas. Do a thought experiment. Suspend your disbelief. So what I did is I dropped out of college. When I was 19 years old, I wanted to be a big successful author. That was my dream reality. What I did is I created a success hypnosis, and every day I listened to this thing over and over, telling me I was in the reality I wanted. I was a millionaire author. I had all my reality the way I wanted it to be. That's what it was telling me, even though it wasn't happening. And every day I would practice rehearsing this, imagining it, feeling it, because feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. So if your feeling matches the feeling you would have if your reality manifested, that is the congruence that will create that reality for you. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. So I would replay this hypnosis over and over, and I would be totally submersed, not only in the feeling, but my brain would be in the reality that I already had these things that I wanted. Well, sure enough, I went from a 20-year-old where no one would publish me to publishing books with Penguin Random House, the #1 English publishing company in the world, translating to other languages, building this business that ended up being way bigger than I thought. And it happened because I matched the neural atomic frequency with the reality that I wanted. So I invite you to test this. Can you program matter and create your own reality? I think you could do it. So I invite you to check out my free success hypnosis. About 1 million people from all over the world have used it. You can just listen to it for a few minutes a day. And when you listen to it, practice getting into the feeling. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. That's what shifts your neural atomic frequency. And then you can rise above your current reality and match it to the one that you intend to manifest. And as he said, you can move into a different reality. So if you click right here, you can get it for free, or go to jakeshypnosis.com. It's pinned to the comments and in the description right there down below. About 1 million people from all over the world have used it. If you enjoy this video, let me know in the comments right there down below. I love this video. Do you think it's crazy? Do you think it's interesting? I think it's some of the most fascinating stuff I've ever seen in the world. Like this idea that ancient civilizations knew all of this stuff that now NASA, the military, quantum physics, modern science is all proving, but they knew it tens of thousands of years ago. What do you think? Let me know in the comments right there down below. If you enjoy this video, hit the subscribe, bell notification, and you can click here to watch another video.